Well, now, how inconvenient was that? Anyways, the computer shut down without warning. I don't know why, other than Windows 11. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so at least it was at a decent spot where there was a break. I'm not going to have to do a super edit or anything. And so I apologize. It's going to be in 2 parts. It's okay. All right, so here we have the body. Can you see the shine on that? Look at it. This is absolutely flawless. There is no flash. The lines are all well delineated. There, see those air vents? Not a lick of flash on them. And down here, it's just beautiful. And just as with their the Tyrrell, I'm so bad. The Tyrrell, however you pronounce it, the P34, and with the GT3 that Peter Oxley just reviewed. There's no reason you couldn't construct this and just put it on the shelf the way it is. You know, if you wanted to, you could, you know, buff this up a little bit. I'd be worried about, yeah, I mean, maybe a clear coat and a little bit of polish, however you like to polish. But you know, it's perfect. Just beautiful. And nice, we got the decals for the tires. Okay. Now, here we have, might as well open this up. You know, there's, I don't want to get into trouble with anybody. But, you know, Japan it's a very interesting contrast of the traditional and the ultra modern in many ways. I mean, we all know about Japanese technology and how you know, how high tech it is, and you know, they're at the forefront with robotics. They have a small but pretty good space program. Anyways, but at the same time, they take pride in doing things in traditional ways, and we know this through Japanese craftsmen, and it's always perilous to generalize people and societies, but really, for the most part, they take great pride in the things that they do. The omarosa, the omelet, the traditional ketchup omelet. They take such pride in presenting that as one of their national breakfast dishes, and they tend to pay a lot of attention to detail, and of course manners are at the top of the list. So anyways, great culture, and it's not perfect. They got a lot of problems, but at the same time. So let's see what we've got here. We've got the black parts here, and you're going to want to be careful with this because it sticks out. But you've got a nice seat tub here. There's detail on the inside here, and there's not much detail on the dash, but you've got beautiful decals for that. Can you see all those rivet and bolt marks? You should be able to. Turn that up there. Yeah. That light's really hot. Don't want to melt the plastic. And then, yeah, and you've got engine parts and wheel parts, and looks like here's the engine block, suspension, blah 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 blah. So all beautifully molded, no flash. Can you see that bar there? No flash there. No flash in that little slot. Yeah. And so 97 tooling, but Tamiya sure knows how to keep their molds in good shape. Okay, now we move here. Oh, and if you hear a little whirring in the background, it's my wife's sewing day. So she's working on her sewing projects. Okay, now let me take a look at this. Excuse me. Here we have the front cowling. Again, just as flawless as the rest of the body. These side panels, beautifully marked. I guess it's a radiator or something, but and it looks like there might be some engine parts here too, but everything just looks absolutely perfect. Love you, Mr. Mia. Now, here, this is kind of interesting. These chrome bits. You notice anything? They have more of a burnished, brushed finish, as opposed to the the super gaudy, chromy parts you get on many automobile kits. But anyways, again, everything looks beautiful. There is absolutely no flash whatsoever. And so we move on. Okay, and so we have 3 masks here, and I do believe, yes, they are pre-cut. Yay! Way to go, Tamiya! There have been some mumblings and grumblings around about Tamiya. It seemed like they weren't not releasing a lot of kits, A lot of new subjects. Sometimes there have been production delays, but in any case, excuse me. You know, people talk about faith. You got to have faith in a company that they'll, especially a Japanese company. They're almost always going to want to, you know, if they're encountering difficulties, they're, or not difficulties, but if they're identifying challenges, and you know, I think in many cases, like 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 its namesake, like January. Okay, do you know why January is called January? It's named after the Roman god named Janus, Janus. And if you look up images of Janus, Janus had two faces. One looked to the left and one looked to the right. And the symbolism there was that one on the left was looking forward and the one on the right was looking backwards. And so the first month of the year is January, because we not only look forward to the new year, but we also look back and reflect on the old year. And as I say, I don't want to get in trouble with anybody, but I think in many ways that's how Japanese business people approach things. They really look forward, but they draw strength from looking backward into the past as well, and into tradition. And it's been very successful for them, so I'm not going to fault them on it. So yeah, as far as faith goes, you know, having worked in the financial industry for decades, stocks, bonds, investments, all that kind of stuff, you know, good companies are good companies, and you have to have faith in them. And part of that faith is that knowing that they're going to make the right decisions going forward, even if they may make mistakes. Having said that, the Nissan Honda merger blew up, and I think this is going to be the end for Nissan. I think they're either going to die or end up being absorbed by a Chinese company. But I'm not going to go into that any further. It's unfortunate, and from what I understand, the Honda people walked away because of Nissan's management's intransigence and basically the attitude that got them in the position that they're in. So I guess we'll just have to see. Honda's not doing that great either. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen with that. I don't think Japan will let China absorb big companies like that, but they might look to South Korea. In any case, enough of that. We're talking about model kits here. Okay, so we have clear parts. Clear parts. See that? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And there are no smudges, no scratches. And you cannot believe the detail that's here. That's been molded right in, the hash marks and the contours of the I guess it's the front lights, whatever. Anyways, everything here is absolutely perfect. My goodness, my beautiful girl. And you know, really, it really is. You know, I wouldn't want to be accused of being a fanboy, because I always try to keep my head on things. But excuse me. For Tamiya to be continuing to be able to produce these kits, and not just kits like this, but like the other ones from the 70s and so on and so forth, at such high quality and so consistently, you know, I think it's pretty awesome. Yeah. So, anyways, so yeah, so we've got the rear tires here. They're okay. I mean, whatever. They're not super soft. They're not super hard. They have a seam right down the middle, which these types of tires normally do. I don't know where you're going to put the decals. There's not that much space. That'll be a challenge. So yeah, and this is the smaller one for the front. So very nice. This too is a nice touch to have the poly caps put in a separate bag. This one is heat sealed. And I'll just read off here their little blurb. Excuse me. One of the most prestigious and grueling racing events held is the Le Mans 24-hour endurance race. It has brought excitement and pleasure to motorsport enthusiasts worldwide ever since it was first held in 1923. In 1996, Porsche, who had been idle in motorsport competitions as a works team since their withdrawal in 1988, announced their intention to come back to the Le Mans 24-hour endurance race with their latest Porsche 911 GT1. Although the styling of the GT1 retains some resemblance with their conventional 911, it is not the usual 911, but a highly advanced pure racing version, as I had mentioned earlier. The low and sleek body shell was a product of numerous wind tunnel experiments. An air intake on the roof and air outlets at either side of the rear contribute to obtain outstanding aerodynamics. See that? See the scoop on the roof? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Probably keeps the cabin from heating up too much heat too, although I don't know if they figured that out one way or another. It's a 3.2 liter water-cooled, horizontally opposed 6-cylinder engine. Okay. Produces an awesome 600 plus horsepower output, coupled with twin turbochargers. The rear suspension has long A-arms connected directly onto the gear case via push rods, just like Formula cars. Front and rear 18-inch wheels are fitted with wide racing slicks, and power-assisted carbon discs with ABS provide a positive stopping power. Excuse me, which you would certainly need. In spite of its exceptionally short development period of only 8 months, the Porsche 911 GT1 gained respectable second and third places in the 1996 Le Mans event, bringing motorsport's glory back again to Porsche. How about that? That's pretty good. You know? You guys over there, well, I don't want to give them any help. But listen to Peter Oxley. You guys over there in certain places, and I can include Korea here too. the info in. It doesn't take much. Border, Mang, Ryefield, all those guys, you know. If you want, I'll do write-ups for you. For free kids. Yeah. So there you go. I'm sure Peter Oxley would too. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. We got this. This is cute, as with all the car models. You've got Mr. Mechanic here. They give you the tools, and so we dive in. So here we are. Engine assembly. They give you all the little painting instructions. Big blow-ups. Virtually impossible to make an error. Now I guess this is the motor mount and additional motor pieces, and then we've got rear suspension. Nice big blow up here. Nice big blow up there. Lower arms. The actuating intercooler. Oh, that's what that was. That's what that is. I always wondered what that was when I saw it. I knew it had something to do with air and cooling and blowing, but I didn't know. What do I know? I'm just a poor boy from Toronto. Not going to talk about how my dad grew up in his father's garage, but never taught me anything about cars. Okay. And then we've got attaching the turbo coolers, all the various little bits. You know, Tamiya just does this so perfectly. You know, in the other video about selecting a kit, I showed the Hasegawa instructions compared to the Tamiya instructions, and I'm not saying one is not good and the other is better or anything like that. I freely admit I'm more used to the Tamiya instructions, but the Hasegawa instructions just seemed like really super busy with like 3 things going on in the same panel. So watch out for that if you're going to have a Hasegawa kit. You want to make sure you read through your instructions probably more than once. Okay, and then we've got the drive belts, the rear uprights, and you know, this is what's so magical about Tamiya, and ingenious too. I mean, you know, you look at these drawings, you look at the instructions. Everything is like super clear. It's really hard to make a mistake. You know, if you just slow down and follow. They show you what not to cement, what to cement. Yeah. Excuse me. Then here we've got the firewall, or they call it the bulkhead. And then we move on to the brakes. Beautiful opportunities here to deal with the brakes. You know, painting them up, and yeah. Anyways. And then we move on to the chassis assembly, attaching the engine, the instrument panel. It shows you here the different decals. You don't have to go to the decal sheet for that. And all the, you know, the painting. Then we've got the interior assembly, where you know, there was very nice detail. Assembling the wheels, how to apply the decals, where. There's very little space there, anyways. And then, you know, attaching the wheels, dealing with the headlights, clear parts. I guess that was the rear lights array. And then we've got the spoiler assembly, with the air intake that goes up in the roof. Got other stuff going on here. There's masks for this, and a couple other things. Oh, and these guys, I guess. I'm not sure about that. Anyways, and then we come down to the absolute final assembly. Putting in the various different panels, putting on a spoiler. And the final assembly here, which is hinged, so that you can raise. I guess it's a cowling. We'd call it a hood or a bonnet if it was in the front. I don't know what you call it when it's in the rear. Anyway, so yeah, that can be raised or lowered, so that's very nice. Alright, so now to rate the kit. Viewers will know, and subscribers will know how I rate a kit, but I'll go over it quickly as I always do. I use a 12-point scale. That's 10 standard points, up to 10 standard points. 2 points for packaging, up to 2 points for the sprues, up to 3 points for the parts, and up to 3 points for the instructions. So that takes it to 10. Each of those categories can get a 1/4 point bonus for any wow factors. In addition to that, I also allow up to a full point for what I call value. And value is, not just this cheap kit or whatever, but how many hours of enjoyment are you going to get out of it, right? This was what, 40? We'll call it $43. Call it $43. Easily get 7 hours out of it. As far as entertainment is concerned, and just working on it, with, I expect, 0 frustration or very little challenge. I think it's going to be a joy to put together, to be honest with you. And so that's like what, $6 an hour or something, for. And like I always say, where else can you get entertainment like that? Good, wholesome entertainment, yeah. And you sure can't get unwholesome entertainment for $6 an hour, let me tell you. Well, in some places in the world you can, but yeah, I'm not going to get into that. Okay, so we are about to witness history here. I'm giving this kit a full 12. Packaging is beautiful. As I showed earlier, beautiful box art. Shrink wrapped, 1/4 point bonus for that. The sprues were totally complete. There was no flash. There were no molding, bubbles, holes, stupid stuff like that. Ejection pin marks. They were absolutely perfect. Packed beautifully. Quarter point bonus there. As far as the parts are concerned, quality of plastic, outstanding. Detail, you couldn't ask for better. There were no warped or broken parts. You might criticize a little bit that there's only, one decal scheme, but that was the car. That was the decal scheme for the car. And they do give you the two different numbers. So, and the masks were, pre-cut, so that's very nice. That gets a quarter point. The instructions, nothing to complain about there either. They're good write-up on the subject, and they were very clear. They were laid out beautifully, as you'd expect from Tamiya. And you got a separate sheet on how to apply the decals. So another quarter point bonus there. So that takes it up to a full 11. And then as far as value is concerned, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, $6 an hour, and a full point. And look at this. I mean, like I say, if you wanted to, okay, here's the thing. And I'm talking about my own experience here, but I'm sure many people will agree with me. There is nothing worse than painting a body shell and the paint messes up. Whether it's because of blisters or whatever the reason, there is nothing worse. You work so hard, you put it all together, and you do everything you're supposed to do right, and then with one spray of the airbrush, usually it's not the airbrush, it's the rattle can or whatever, you end up with it's wrecked. So this is so covered up with decals already. I mean, like I said, why do anything at all with the shell? All these parts here, yeah, you can detail those. They're all separate, right? But as far as the overall shell is concerned, you can put a clear coat on that, polish it up real nice, put the decals on, and ain't nobody gonna know the difference. And anybody who does, enough said. Okay, so yeah, beautiful kit. My goodness. A 1997 tooling, new production, sure. Excuse me. I just can't say enough. That's all. Drop the mic. Thanks for stopping by. I believe I'm up to 571 subscribers now. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate it. And lots of model kits coming. Lots of other things coming. I'm going to be doing a short video within the next couple of days about tools and about for beginners and starters how to put together a pantry for your model stuff. So it's going to be about paint. It's going to be about tools. It's going to be about cement. All those things, and also with an eye on economy. So I hope everybody's enjoyed this video. This is an absolutely beautiful kit. I can't say enough about it. It restores my faith that I just been shaking a wee little bit. You hear me, Seamus? Just a wee little bit. Oh, and speaking of which, Seamus BMW. Go visit his channel. Yeah, Seamus BMW. He's a wizard with lighting, and he builds great models. Um, Good man. Love you, Seamus. Okay, and likewise with Zinzan, Zinzan Scale Modeling. He's got a couple of projects on the go now, and he's well worth watching. Uh, he, he he's much higher end, not only in the skill department but in the model kit department. But he doesn't poo-poo as you said in one of your comments. He doesn't poo-poo. More basic kits. I mean, I think maybe he didn't come out and say it, but like me, sometimes you don't want to get into anything super complex. You just want to do something with your fingers and listen to some nice music, and there's no pressure for anything. And, so just puttering around, and almost a meditative exercise. So, anyways, so there we are. That's it. Really dropping the mic now, and hope you've enjoyed the review, and we will see you next time on the next one. Bye now.